Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that changed my life forever, and it can change yours too. Wake up early. I'm not talking about just getting up before the sun. I'm talking about rising with a purpose before the world starts pulling at you, before the chaos, the notifications, the noise. You've got to understand the morning holds power. When you wake up early, you are giving yourself the greatest gift, time. Time to think, time to plan, time to pray, time to grow. Waking up early creates space for clarity, focus, and intention. When the world is still quiet before the emails start rolling in, before the calls begin, and before the distractions of the day set in, you have a golden opportunity to be with yourself. It's in that silence that your mind can breathe. There's no noise competing for your attention, no urgent problems demanding immediate solutions, just you and the beginning of a brand new day. This is where clarity is born. Not when you're rushing to meet a deadline or multitasking through a busy afternoon. Clarity requires space, and that space is found in the early hours when everything is still. In those moments, you can hear your thoughts, feel your intentions, and start to understand what really matters. Most people never even get that chance because they wake up already behind, already reacting. But when you rise early, you take back control. You get to decide how your day starts, not the world. You decide what comes first, not the demands of your job or the chaos of your surroundings. That's powerful. Focus is another gift of waking up early. Your mind isn't overloaded yet. You haven't scrolled through social media, you haven't been hit with headlines, and you haven't been emotionally drained by other people's energy. Your brain is fresh. You can sit down and read something that builds you. You can work on your goals with no distractions. You can think clearly about your vision, your plans, and your next steps. People talk about not having enough time to do what they love, but they overlook the hours they sleep through in the morning. Those hours can be filled with creativity, planning, reflection, or growth. Even just 1 hour of focused time each morning can shift your entire life. The quality of that time is different from any other time of day. There's something sacred about the morning, something that makes it easier to lock in and concentrate deeper. And if you're trying to build something important, a business, a dream, a better life, that deep focus is your best friend. Intention is what ties it all together. Without intention, life becomes reactive. You wake up, check your phone, answer messages, get stuck in traffic, deal with problems, and the next thing you know, the day is over and you haven't done one thing for yourself. But when you get up early, you can start the day on purpose. You can take a moment to ask yourself what you want from this day. You can write it down, say it out loud, visualize it, and align your actions with it. Intention is about living deliberately, not just floating through time. When you wake up with the sun or before it, you have the chance to set the tone. You decide your mindset. You decide your energy. You decide the direction. That small window of time becomes your reset, your launch pad, your anchor. And once you start living like that, you stop feeling lost or overwhelmed because your day begins with awareness and clarity. The early morning is a time of zero distractions and full productivity. It is one of the rare moments in the day when the world isn't asking anything from you. There are no buzzing phones, no emails flooding your inbox. No conversations pulling your attention in a dozen directions. It is the time when everything is still, and in that stillness lies your greatest chance to move forward. This window is precious. It is a space where you can operate at your highest potential because nothing is competing for your focus. Your mind is untouched by the noise of the day, the problems, the demands, the pressure. They haven't arrived yet. That early window gives you a level of mental clarity that is almost impossible to access later in the day. In the early morning, you can sit with your ideas and thoughts and hear them clearly. You're not reacting to the world. You're acting from your center. That's a powerful shift. And when you make it a habit, everything begins to align differently. When you wake up early and remove the external clutter, your brain becomes sharper. You can think deeper, move with more purpose, and finish tasks that might take double the time during a busier hour. It's like tapping into a hidden superpower that only reveals itself when the rest of the world is asleep. You could write that chapter, design that project, brainstorm that vision, or map out your strategy without any interruption. Your mental bandwidth is full and fresh. There's no stress from the day yet, no fatigue, no discouragement from setbacks, no wasted energy from dealing with unnecessary drama. It's just you, your thoughts, and your mission. Those are the hours when you build momentum. When you stack those mornings together, day after day, it becomes a force of progress that is nearly impossible to stop. Most people underestimate what can be done in just one uninterrupted hour. 1 hour with no distractions is worth more than 3 or 4 hours of scattered, distracted effort. The early morning gives you that hour, or 2, or even more, and the results compound. You start getting ahead. You finish things before anyone else has started. You stay mentally ahead because you're already centered while others are trying to catch up. That gives you an edge, not just in your work, but in your mindset. You walk into the day feeling prepared, focused, and composed while others are reacting and rushing. That sense of readiness of being one step ahead builds confidence. It changes how you move through the day. You're not chasing time, you're commanding it. Waking up early shifts your relationship with time itself. Instead of saying you don't have time, you start making time. You take ownership of those quiet hours and use them to create, to plan, to improve. There's a peace in knowing that while the world sleeps, you're building, you're progressing, you're doing the work that sets you apart. That early productivity becomes part of your identity. You stop waiting for the right moment and start creating it in the silence of the morning. Every successful person has a powerful morning routine. Success is not random. It doesn't happen by chance. It is built on habits, and one of the most critical habits of high achievers is what they do when they wake up. They don't leave their morning to luck or mood or convenience. They structure it. They build a foundation for the day that gives them control, clarity, and energy. The way you begin your morning determines the tone for everything that follows. So if you roll out of bed late, rushing to catch up, skipping over any time for yourself, then you're already starting in a state of reaction. But when you have a routine that you follow with discipline, you walk into the day already winning. Successful people know this, which is why their mornings are often sacred. They don't waste those first minutes or hours. They use them intentionally because they know that consistency in the morning leads to consistency in result. You'll find that successful people rarely wake up without a plan. They rise early. They move their bodies. They read, they reflect, they write, they pray, they visualize, they meditate. They plan their day before the world tries to plan it for them. It's not always about how long the routine is, it's about how intentional it is. Even 30 minutes of focused, repeated behavior in the morning can elevate your mindset for the next 15 hours. It's not about being perfect, it's about showing up for yourself before you show up for anyone else. You are your first priority in the morning, and when you begin your day grounded in that, your confidence begins to grow. You begin to trust yourself more. You stop waking up dreading the day and start waking up ready to own it. A powerful morning routine acts as a shield. It protects you from being thrown off by unexpected stress. It keeps you mentally strong and emotionally centered because you've already taken care of your mind before the world tried to attack it. You've already aligned your goals, checked in with your spirit, pushed your body, and reminded yourself of what matters most. That kind of preparation makes you a force. It means you don't crumble when things go wrong. because your mind has already been trained to stay focused. You're not caught off guard by life because you've already grounded yourself before stepping into it. This is why the morning routine isn't just about productivity, it's about identity. It's a statement to yourself that you are committed, that your goals matter enough for you to get up and work on them even when no one's watching, that you value your growth enough to be disciplined even when you're tired, that you're not waiting for motivation, you're building systems that will carry you through the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Successful people do not rely on random bursts of energy or luck. They rely on systems, routines, and habits. And it all begins with how they start their day. Their power comes from repetition, from structure, from ritual. Their success is built each morning in the quiet, in the discipline, in the moments when the world is still and they are already in motion. Your discipline in the morning reflects your commitment to your goals. The way you show up for yourself before anyone else is watching is the most honest measurement of how serious you are about the life you say you want. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about doing the right thing even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. When that alarm rings early in the morning and your body wants to stay in bed, that moment becomes a test. And every time you choose to get up and do what you said you were going to do, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. That vote gets counted. It builds your character, your resilience, your self-respect. You stop seeing discipline as punishment and start understanding it as the greatest form of self-love you can practice. Because when you choose discipline, you choose growth. You choose progress over comfort. You choose the long-term reward over the short-term relief. And every successful person understands that this choice made day after day becomes the bridge between where they are and where they want to go. Discipline is not something you find, it's something you build. And the morning is the best training ground. There are no distractions yet, no emergencies, just you and the commitment you made to yourself. That's a moment when the excuses show up, but also the moment when the opportunity to grow stronger presents itself. When you choose discipline in that moment, you separate yourself from the crowd. Most people wait to feel ready. Most people wait until it's convenient. But those who win at life know that waiting doesn't bring results, working does. And working when it's hard, when it's early, when no one's watching, is where the transformation really happens. Every time you keep your promise to yourself, you build trust, you build belief, you stop negotiating with your excuses and start leading yourself with action. That's what discipline really is. Doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable, and doing it again and again until it becomes who you are. In the morning, that discipline might look like getting out of bed the moment the alarm sounds. It might be making your bed, exercising, reading, journaling, meditating, or setting clear intentions for the day. It doesn't have to be dramatic, but it does have to be consistent. Small disciplined actions add up. They compound. They create momentum that carries into the rest of the day. When you start the day with discipline, you are more likely to carry that same energy into your work, your relationships, your decisions. You start walking through life with more control, more purpose, more direction. Discipline is not a mood, it's a mindset. And the more you train it in the morning, the more you see it show up when things get tough. You begin to trust yourself more because you know you've already done the hard thing, that confidence is earned through action, not through motivation or talk. Discipline is the real proof that you are serious about your goals. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers. And when you build that discipline in the early hours of the day, it becomes a force that drives everything else in your life forward. Starting your day early gives you a mental edge over the world. When you rise before the majority, You place yourself in a position of control and advantage that most people never experience. It's not just about getting up early to be busy. It's about waking up with purpose while the rest of the world is still quiet, still asleep, still unaware. That stillness gives you the space to think, to breathe, to prepare your mind for the day ahead. While everyone else is still caught in the fog of sleep, you already sharpening your thoughts, aligning your focus, and choosing how you want to show up. This puts you ahead mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually, because you're not reacting to the day, you're leading it. You've already laid your mental groundwork, which makes it harder for outside forces to shake you. You become anchored, grounded, ready to face what others stumbled into half awake. There's something powerful about knowing you've already accomplished meaningful things before most people have even opened their eyes. It builds a kind of quiet confidence that doesn't need to be shouted or proven. It's just there. That confidence becomes a mindset. It tells you that you are in control, that you're willing to do what others won't, that you value your mission enough to wake up and pursue it with intention. When you do that consistently, the mental edge becomes permanent. You stop doubting yourself because you've seen the proof of your discipline. You start believing in your ability to show up and get things done no matter how difficult. You're not just managing your time better, you're developing mental strength that separates you from the average mindset. Getting up early doesn't just give you more hours, it gives you better hours. The early hours of the day are quieter, more peaceful, and less distracted. They allow for deep work, deep thought, and deep connection to your goals. This is the time to visualize your success, to study, to create, to train, to write, to plan. It's the mental gym where you condition your mind for clarity, for calmness, for strategy. You become sharper, more aware, more present. You begin each day having already built momentum before others have even had their first cup of coffee. That's a powerful advantage, and over time it compounds. The small wins that you accumulate in the early hours grow into major victories later in the day and eventually in life. That mental edge also creates a shift in how you deal with stress, how you make decisions, and how you carry yourself. You're no longer living on defense, you're on offense. You've already seen the day before it unfolded. You've already rehearsed your mindset, prepared your attitude, clarified your direction. That makes you more effective, more efficient, and more resilient. People around you will notice something different even if they can't explain it. That difference is the power of having already done the work on yourself before the world even started spinning. You're no longer trying to catch up. You're setting the pace. You're not being pulled in every direction. You've already decided where you're going. That mental edge becomes a weapon that helps you face challenges with certainty and lead your life with clarity. Greatness doesn't happen in comfort. It starts when others are still sleeping. The world celebrates the success stories, the awards, the spotlight moments, but it often forgets where those moments are born. They're not born during the applause or in the glow of recognition. They're born in the early hours when no one is watching, when the streets are quiet, when the sky is still dark, and when most people are lost in sleep. That's where greatness begins. It's built in the grind that happens before the sun comes up, in the silence, where there's no audience, no reward, just determination and discipline. When you're willing to sacrifice sleep for a purpose, when you're willing to wake up early and chase something no one else can see, that's when the foundation of true greatness is laid. Most people want the results, but they don't want the sacrifice. They want the reward without the grind. But the ones who actually make it are the ones who show up in the early morning when their body says no and their mind says yes. There's a kind of power in rising while others sleep because it means you're putting your dream ahead of your comfort. Comfort will never lead to growth. Comfort keeps you where you are, but purpose pulls you forward. Every time you get out of bed when it's still dark, you send a message to your mind and to the world that you are serious, that you're not here to be average, that you are chasing something bigger than sleep, something bigger than temporary rest. And when that becomes your pattern, when it becomes who you are, everything around you begins to shift. You move differently. You think differently. You feel a kind of hunger that doesn't go away, a drive that refuses to let you settle. That drive is born in discomfort. It's created when you learn to embrace early mornings, not as punishment, but as preparation. You can't reach the next level of your life doing what everyone else is doing. Most people are asleep, both literally and mentally. They move through life on autopilot, hoping things will get better, wishing for change without putting in the work. But the great ones, the people who leave a legacy, wake up and create their lives with intention. They wake up early and they train. They study. They build. They work on their craft. They master their mindset. They grind in private so they can shine in public. They understand that if you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. And waking up early while everyone else sleeps is one of those things. When you make that choice daily to rise and move while the world is still, you begin to feel the edge it gives you. Not just in time, but in mentality. You start your day before the distractions, before the noise, before the stress. You step into your goals fully alert, fully awake, fully driven. You're not reacting to the day. You're leading it. And as that routine becomes part of you, so does a new identity, one that's built on purpose, sacrifice, resilience, and the willingness to do what most people won't. Because greatness has a price and is often paid in the early hours of the morning when no one is clapping and no one sees the work being done.